All right, so this is a suggestion via a donation. Now, the name of the video is Students Support Socialism Until It's Applied to Their GPA. Let's go. Let's check it out, guys. Let's see where this takes us. There we go.
I'm Kevin Phillips with Campus Reform. Today we're at Florida International University talking to students about their opinions of socialism and if they'd support a socialist GPA policy. Would they be willing to share their high GPA with people that have a low GPA? Because after all, it's all about equality. Which would you
Okay,
rather have in America?
Let's see where this takes us.
I would say socialism.
How do you view the word socialism, favorably or unfavorably?
I guess I would go with favorably.
Like, I have family in Europe. They go to college for free. Their healthcare is paid for. They don't have to worry about it at all.
I favor that over capitalism.
Okay, got it.
I also think I favor that, like, socialism over capitalism.
Socialism is more geared toward, like, helping the people in your, the governed.
I'd rather people have that same opportunity. There's a lot of excess in America.
The main idea of socialism being that people at the top are doing their fair share to help people at the bottom, trying to prevent disparity of income and trying to prevent excess, as you called it. So on campus, if there's a GPA disparity where there's people at the bottom with a poor GPA, would you support a policy where people at the top spread the wealth and give that GPA to people at the bottom?
Help them get a better GPA?
Yeah.
I'm all for helping. I wouldn't give let me just give you some of my points.
But it's about being fair, right? We got to help people at the bottom.
I've lost a lot of sleep, so I don't know if I will be fair.
It's hard. I guess it would be kind of like hypocritical for me to say no.
That's completely different.
How is it different?
Because I'm studying all day for my grade.
Right.
What do you mean by sharing it? Like literally, like giving them a chunk of my GPA?
Guys, this is a good example, I'd say personally. It's a really good example on socialism in a sense, right? Just be fully aware. I know a good amount of things regarding socialism versus capitalism. There's a lot of political propping up of the term socialism that becomes troubling when we actually try to have an even conversation regarding it, right? Obviously, none of these people are going to want to share their grades, bro. That's something that they're working for. But at the same time, it's a really good comparison because if capitalism, for the most part, didn't exist the way it does, or it hasn't bled into society in other realms like grades in school, right? Then they would honestly have no real need or urge to even achieve the grades that they ever got. Guys, I get it. I understand. I get it, right? If capitalism cannot run absolutely crazy, right? I mean, obviously we are absolutely in late stage capitalism. I wouldn't say that that's a amazing thing, right? A lot of people are getting very rich, but a lot of people are not doing very well. Socialism in itself isn't scary, right? But I think the overall problem is, I don't know, hold on. So socialism in itself is not scary, but it will absolutely remove the urge to do better, if that makes any sense. It will take the willpower, that's not willpower, but it will take the will out of people, right? So all of these super high achievers, why would they high achieve? There'll be no real benefit for them to do so. I guess that can be a negative, right? Because it does, we wouldn't advance anywhere near as much without the concept of socialism, because for what? Who would want to, right? There's no real benefit. There's no reward in it. I'm literally arguing the points in my head because I'm trying to see both sides of the story here, guys. It's troubling to have conversations about it sometimes because a lot of people don't really grasp the complexities of it, and they just want to throw Venezuela up in the air like that's a talking point. It really isn't. Venezuela failed not because of socialism, but more so because of oil. They basically backed their currency off of the concept of oil, guys. They were doing very well off of doing that based off of the reserves Venezuela specifically has, right? And so, yeah, they were doing very well financially until the prices of the barrels dropped, right? And honestly, in the 80s, I think, 1980s, is when they started doing really bad. They fixed themselves for the most part, societally, kind of, right? But poverty was like the thing that was left behind after readjusting the value of their currency. This is the reason why it got devalued so quickly. Inflation, along with the concept of backing their currency off of oil. This is what destroyed Venezuela. Not so much just rampant socialism, right? But that's generally the talking point. When someone brings up socialism, they bring up that. But then if you start talking about what are the causes of that, they tend to not want to have the conversation anymore. So that's Venezuela. So whenever anyone says socialism, Venezuela, it's because of the oil, guys. It really had not so much to do with the actual the practice of it, but they were not winning under socialism. Why, you may ask, guys? They were at one time the 4th largest economy on this planet, guys, Venezuela, and then no. Why would you base it off of that natural resource that's finite? Why would you do that? I don't know. Terrible leadership, I'd say, personally. But it wasn't just specifically socialism. Guys, we have so many socialist programs in the United States of America for people to complain about socialism. It's wild, right? We have the post office, we have the army, guys, we have all these food services that help people that cannot afford food, right? The library, public schools, guys, the list can go on and on and on. And Section 8 housing, guys, so much, guys. What, TANF, the WIC programs, like a lot of food-oriented programs that keep people fed, like SNAP, right? All of these programs all these programs are socialist, guys, all of them. It's all rooted in that, guys. That's what it is. All right, the same people who mainly praise the military almost exclusively. Keep this in mind. I respect our military, absolutely. I love my flag, all of these things, guys, right? But I just can't stand when people will say one thing, and then some of these people are the same people who will then start talking about socialism while the program that you're praising is a socialist program. By absolute definition, it's a socialist program. The roads you drive on are socialist programs. They're built from socialism. Stop driving on the roads, bro. All right? Go get a 4-wheel drive. Guys, we are pretty much a solid mix of these things in the United States of America. We absolutely are. We kind of always have been, guys. Well, Roosevelt played a pretty big part in making these things actually come to fruition. But yeah. In terms of, let's go back to the video for a second here, though, guys. When it comes to comparing socialism specifically to GPA, it's genius to teach, if that's the point. If you're looking to teach the concept of what socialism and capitalism is, or if this is like a gotcha question, then that's pretty disrespectful, bro. But either way.
Yep.
Dang.
I would want to say no, straight up.
But what's the difference
Everyone's
between
gonna say no, bro.
earning a
Everyone.
high GPA and not wanting to give it away, but then earning a lot of money and also not wanting to give that away?
Well, I feel like the difference is that you study for your grades, right? And grades often reflect how much time you spend studying. But
You gotta work pretty hard to become a millionaire.
I mean, I'm not denying that fact either, but for the regular working person,
Do you think there's a similarity between
But you're going to college specifically to get a job that's going to make you a regular working person. Coming out of college in absolute horrifying student debt.
earning your salary and
maybe not even
wanting
getting a
to give
job
it
in
away
your
to people
field.
that aren't working to earn it? And same thing with the GPA, where you earn it and you say, well, I don't necessarily want to give it to anyone who might not be working for it.
Right. I think it's just that whole sense of thinking that no one's going to work for it.
I mean, I sacrifice a lot to get my GPA. I don't go out as much as I'd like to, but that's for a greater goal in the future, the way I see it. So no, I wouldn't sacrifice my own things, like sacrifice my own time to help somebody else who didn't want to make those same sacrifices.
There's some people who are in the bottom, but they really are working, and there's some people who are in the bottom and they deserve that poor GPA.
Kind of like people making money with their income.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like some people. Let's not throw shade.
But isn't it about helping the less fortunate?
Basically profiting off of my work for you. So who's really the bad guy here?
I don't think that'd be a good idea, because then you're taking away from people that earn that grade. And what about the ones that aren't really working hard for their grades? So they're just going to get something they don't really deserve.
Got it. And do you think it's similar with your salary?
Yeah, I definitely do.
No, that's the complete opposite of meritocracy.
Okay.
The complete opposite. That's like awful.
I don't think they're comparable because your GPA is not directly linked to like your quality of life necessarily.
But you still have to earn it the same way you'd have to earn a salary, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
Just play the thought experiment.
most rich people in this country necessarily earn it. Much of that money is inherited. Much of that money, is made from the stock market, which they're not actually working for that. They're pressing a button behind a computer for that.
So then do the same thing. The stock market is pretty easy to get into, bro. It's pretty easy. If you're gonna make complaints about that specifically, some people prefer to work smarter than harder. There's nothing wrong with that, but I know a lot of the times, unfortunately, it tends to work out that people that definitely are doing less tend to make a lot more than people that are actually going out and working hard jobs.
Ooh,
that's a touchy one, bro.
Well, then there would be no point to having a GPA because then if everyone has the same, then there's no metric, right?
But it's all about fairness, right?
Well, is it fair? I look at it this way, right? Is it fair for everyone to have the same outcome or to have the same opportunity, right? For me, having the same opportunity is what is fair, right?
Right, that's absolutely fair. As long as we have equality for the most part of opportunity, that's absolutely the most valuable thing on this entire planet. But the concept of equality of outcome, bro, what even is that? All right. Listen, are you trying to make everyone look bad? Never say that again. All right. He said it correctly, obviously. But what I mean is that there are people who walk around and say, yeah, we need equality of outcome. Bro, what are you saying? That's not a real thing. That can't be real. Right. I guess that would work by definition in Vietnam, maybe, potentially, because I think they're a socialist nation, guys. But guys, I've met some extremely rich Vietnamese. How is that a thing? How are you extremely rich under socialism? That doesn't make any sense, bro. I'm just gonna be honest. But either way, let's go.
Not the same outcome, right? Because if I work harder than you and I get a better result, then it is only fair that I get a better grade or I get a better opportunity than you, right?
I'm Cabot Phillips with Campus Reform. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to donate to help us make more videos just like that, you can click right here. And if you want to be the first person to see all of our new content, click the subscribe button right here. Please, click one of them. Doesn't have to be both. One or the other. Okay, thanks.
All right. So it felt like, I don't know, kind of a teaching moment that he was doing. It didn't feel like he was just straight trying to dunk on everyone. So that's a cool thing. Honestly, I think it felt... Well, how about this, guys? He was just asking the questions and they were answering how they were answering. I don't know if there are even more videos of more people that he had interviewed, guys, but to compare socialism to grades in school, guys, GPAs, oh man, that's a good one, bro. How long did you sit and think that up one? Bro, tell me how long you tried this. That's genius, guys. Because you can't really get out of that one. That's a really good one. That's a good one, bro. But all right, listen. Socialism has its benefits, and absolutely, capitalism has probably a lot more. I think every country needs to probably be a good mix of it, and that I think represents the United States of America pretty well. In that we are absolutely a good mix of it. We did not allow 100% socialism to dominate everything that we do, guys. That cannot happen. That will kill all of achievements, guys. Yeah, we don't want that. We need to continue innovating. All right, we need to get back out to space. We need to do a lot of these things, and a lot of these things are going to cost a lot of money, and there are going to be a lot of people making money from that very specific thing, and we need to continue on that very specific path. But I do think capitalism in our exact form probably needs to be looked at, bro. I'm sorry. Things need to be adjusted, okay? Because people cannot survive right now with this economy, bro. Inflation is absolutely crazy. The prices of things have almost doubled at times on some objects, guys, some items. Houses are just crazy right now, guys, right? And people cannot afford to buy a house in the richest country in the history of this earth, guys. All right? But listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.